kept you waiting, huh? Snake, were you able to make it into the base unseen? Of course, Colonel. A cardboard box solves that issue. Good. Colonel! Colonel! What happened? It is me, dear brother. Liquid. But how? I anticipated your infiltration and you walked right into my trap. There's only one way out of that room, which is rigged to explode. I have laid out a number of card keys on the table and I want you to— Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid. What is this? Mantis said he saw you like Metal Gear games, okay? As I was saying, you are to place each card key in the correct lock, or else we won't be the twin snakes anymore. May the odds not be in your favor. Liquid!
You're pretty good.
Oh, Metal Gear. If only I had known you sooner. Metal Gear has been around for 31 years, and yet it was only this past year that I really got into the series. I know, it's quite a shame that only 2 years after the series fell on its feet did I give it the attention it deserves. I honestly wish I had been playing during its prime, but whatever, better late than never, right? The Metal Gear series has quickly grew into one of my favorites of all time. The emphasis on story, among other things, holds close to my heart, as that is exactly what I would like to factor in my own video games in the future. With that being said, it's time for the top 10 Metal Gear games. So starting off this list is a game I didn't want to put so low because it is a wonderful game and I somehow managed to put many hours into it. But that doesn't change the fact that the game is extremely short and offers little for what it was worth at launch. Still, beyond that, Ground Zeroes was again an outstanding game. The game's missions provided a very good challenge to your own abilities of stealth, and it told you exactly what was up after completion. While very limited in size, the military base setting was very well designed and added to the challenge in each mission. The game also introduced the Fox engine, which made the game's graphics and details look absolutely beautiful. The many hours I managed to put into it were not wasted, as I did have fun doing the various tasks. If only there was more content to go by though, it might have been higher on the list. But at least, it manages to land on it at number 10. And here's the one that started it all. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The Metal Gear that's on here is only the MSX2 home computer version, not the NES version, because that version sucks. Metal Gear pioneered a new type of gameplay in the 8-bit era. In a time when shooters were simply just blast everything in sight, here came a game that required you to sneak your way through the base using the items available at your disposal. While the story wasn't as deep as the rest of the series will end up proving, it still held up pretty well and keeps you interested for the most part. Overall, the game did have its flaws, but there's no shame there, and it doesn't stop the game from being amazing. The biggest shame was how this was on a relatively obscure console, so instead, we got this. Just be sure if you want to play this game, play the right version. It's truly an awesome game, and it will sneak its way to number 9. The sequel that we never got. Nope, instead we got... Oh god, what the hell is this? Never mind, let's focus on the game in question. Metal Gear 2 improved on any flaws that Metal Gear 1 had, making it an even more awesome game. Obviously, right off the bat, you could tell that the story is even deeper this time, having a lot more dialogue and adopting themes of betrayal, loss, and more. Along with the deeper story, the game introduces better designed sequences which puts the player on their toes. These sequences would then be redone for the next entry in the series and ultimately become iconic. Again, the biggest shame here is that we never got this one outside of Japan for over 16 years. Then again, it's not like I was alive back then, but I feel for my gaming predecessors. Overall, Metal Gear 2 is a great game and really showcased what the series was capable of. It will lay claim to its spot at number 8. I had a lot of fun in the old days with my PSP. I had some games like Medal of Honor, SOCOM, and Sonic Rivals. Around the time that Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker came, I hadn't really been using it that much, so I didn't know of its existence, but looking at it now, I see that it's truly awesome. Metal Gear 1 and 2 showcased Outer Heaven and Zanzibar Land as Big Boss's mercenary forces. Peace Walker puts you in the shoes of Big Boss as he builds those forces. Yeah, that's the main focus of the game, other than the story of course. This bit of RPG elements really made this game very unique amongst the other entries in the series. Does it stack up with the rest? Not necessarily, but it's still a very good game on its own. It retains the same exciting stealth-based gameplay and plenty of action as its many predecessors. Peace Walker is a PSP or PS3 game worth giving a shot, and it will unite with its spot at number 7. So when the term Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid is mentioned, tactical espionage action comes to mind. But what if I told you that there also exists a hack and slash action game in the series? What? Yeah, no joke. This isn't Metal Gear Solid, but Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Wait, really? Did they combine revenge and vengeance into one word? Why? It just sounds redundant. Whatever. Revengeance is the first and, spoiler alert, only spin-off game on this list. That's because most of them aren't so great, but this one is just plain awesome. It stars Raiden instead of Solid Snake or Big Boss, cutting down everything in its way. Being a cyborg ninja, the game is extremely fast-paced and never loses that pace. There's hardly such a thing as stealth here. You're pretty much encouraged to just cut up anything and everything. It is a huge departure from what the series is known for, but it gets a pass because it still kind of fits in with the bizarre nature of it. It's definitely a spin-off worth a try, and it will slice its way to number 6. And here is possibly the most controversial game in the series, and that's not necessarily because of the game itself. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is the true final game of the series, not counting a certain insult of a game. The Phantom Pain is controversial based off the issues between Kojima and Konami during its development and release. According to many, there was much meddling during development that led to a lot of cut content, which also made the game feel incomplete. This led to a lot of Konami hate. Not that they don't deserve it, but that isn't what we're focusing on here. The Phantom Pain is without a doubt an awesome game. This is the first open world Metal Gear Solid game, and it allowed for much more open-ended gameplay. Picking up from Peace Walker, Ground Zero saw the destruction of the army you had built in that game, so naturally, the Phantom Pain has you start back at square one. The system is rather entertaining, and it urges you to be more vigilant about who you killed or who you recruit for your army. The game's missions also had their fair share of challenge and could be completed in many ways depending on how you're equipped and how you run through them. The open-ended gameplay is a massive plus, but an incomplete game can only go so far, and it will go as far as number 5. You've ever been rickrolled on YouTube? Or just swerved really hard? No? What does this have to do with Metal Gear Solid 2? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. Sons of Liberty is really where the Metal Gear series stepped into serious movie territory. I mean, really, these cutscenes are long. But that didn't bother me. I like a good story, and this was truly a great story. Solid Snake starts the game off, but the rest is all on newcomer Raiden. That was certainly controversial amongst the fanbase and deterred the game's good graces in many eyes, but not mine. I did like Raiden, even if he was a goof. The game itself made minor improvements to MGS1's already amazing gameplay, especially with the first-person aiming, which was a huge plus. Of course, Sons of Liberty is awesome, but it doesn't have as much fire as the next 3 entries do. It still shifts to the number 4 spot. Jeez, and you thought Sons of Liberty was in serious movie territory. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots is a goddamn movie, but a very damn good one at that. Again, I don't mind if a game is very cutscene heavy as long as said cutscenes keep me entertained and on my toes. Nevertheless, the gameplay is great as well, being more like Metal Gear Solid 3 this time around. Kojima put all the effort into making Solid Snake's final outing as amazing as possible, and boy, does it show. It's such a shame to see an amazing character like Solid Snake in such a sorry state. I only wish that he'd get his happy ending, and for the most part it was. I thought that Guns of the Patriots was an incredible end to the series. Well, Solid Snake's era at least. Oh, and get this, there's a Metal Gear battle. Awesome! Thanks to its nano machines, MGS4 secures its spot at number 3. Before I continue, isn't it so weird that MGS 2, 3, and 4 take the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spots? Not that they're exact numbers, but hey, that's still a nice coincidence. Seems as this stuff happens quite a bit on my list, huh? Where was I? Oh, yes, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. It was between this game and the one in the number 1 spot to be the winner, and I chose that one, but there's a reason why this game was considered. Snake Eater is a prequel to the entire series. It is literally the first game chronologically, and thus, the legendary beginnings to this legendary story. Snake Eater changes the formula quite a bit. While previous games had you using your wits and gadgets at your disposal to sneak your way through and take down your enemies, here you must also worry about your own survival, by finding your own food, treating your injuries, and also knowing exactly where to hide and what to camouflage yourself with. Needless to say, there's tons more challenge to this game, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Snake Eater is also great for the memorable moments and masterful design. It was honestly so hard to choose between how good both games are, but trust me, the true number 1 is worth playing the entire series for. Metal Gear Solid 3 eats its way to number 2. Before we get to number 1, let's check out some honorable mentions, which is not a lot. I wouldn't lie to you when I say a game is worth playing an entire series for. And when it comes to Metal Gear, that game is Metal Gear Solid. Or its remake, The Twin Snakes. Technically, yes, this is 2 games at the number 1 spot, but there's a reason why I made this decision. I have a rule on this list that I haven't really mentioned before. No remasters or remakes. Though I am perfectly fine with placing the remake in either the honorable mentions, or in this case at the same spot as the original. With that being said, God damn, is this game just beautiful. Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 is pretty much the majority's introduction into the series, and needless to say, it left a lasting impression. The story was nothing less than extraordinary. It pushed the boundaries of what a game's story was able to do in those times, introducing a colorful cast of characters, killing most of them off, and creating some of the most incredible moments in not just the entire series, but in all of gaming. Playstyle is a bit stiff nowadays, but it is unique and fun to work around, which also factors on a design aspect. Even on some frustrating moments, I was ambitious in pulling through and thriving, and in the end, the game hadn't aged well. Yeah, I'm sorry. Still, it doesn't take away from how amazing it is. The Twin Snakes adds graphical improvements, its own upgrades to the gameplay, adding slight improvements from MGS2, and a bit of Hollywood action. Yeah, that's a thing. Metal Gear Solid is now one of my favorite games of all time. My only regret is, I didn't play it earlier. Though I'm not fond of Konami, especially with this being a thing, I can at least be thankful that they gave this beautiful series a chance to bloom. Most of my love has to be for this man, Hideo Kojima. Mr. Kojima, you truly are a genius and someone I look up to very much. I only wish that you can continue working on Metal Gear, but I will wait to play Death Stranding and see how that will be. Thank you for the incredible work you've done in the last 30 plus years. And that concludes the top 10 Metal Gear games. It's just amazing as to what you can miss out on for so long, but I did end up playing it and never looked back. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll try to put out some more content for you as soon as I can, but for now, do not hesitate to check out some of my other videos and leave a big like on all of them. Thank you guys for watching. Know that you're all pretty good, and I'll see you in the next video.
Access granted.
Perfect. Now to find Liquid. I kick his ass. Not yet, Snake. It's not over yet.